Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kids TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. It's Friday. It's about 1:42 p.m. Got to go to work in a couple hours, Feeling real good today. Typically I feel pretty good, Any day outside of prison is a great day, And I feel good because I got to talk to Trap Talk Blue. If y'all not familiar with Trap Talk Blue, go check his channel out, man. He's out of Detroit. He's a up-and-coming YouTuber just like me. Actually, he's, well established, more established rather. But he has some interesting takes. Nice channel, man. Speaks reality. Go check him out. Trap Talk Blue. And also got off the line with Jay Williams, so I'm feeling good, man. You know what I mean? Well, I'm lying. I ain't get off the line, but, we text. Same thing. You see what I'm saying? But another good, I'm sure you all already know. Heck, half of you all probably came to my channel because of Jay Williams. You see what I'm saying? But if you've been living under a rock in the YouTube world, go check out Jay Williams, man. Let's Live Life. One of the realest YouTubers out there. We was just chopping it up back and forth, Great dude, man. Spending time with his family and his kids, Great dude, man. Great dude. There is a message today. Jay told a story last night. He uploaded a video, and he was talking about how, actually, it was today that he uploaded it. I'm not sure if it was one of his older videos. I believe it was, but nevertheless, it was very interesting and entertaining. He was talking about how oftentimes some of the correction officers, they tend to abuse their authority. And when I think about it, both videos kind of, he touches on both of that in both videos now that I really think about it. And I felt exactly what he was saying. When he was telling this story, it was like, I don't know, like a Rocky movie or something. Like I just wanted to find a CO to have it out with. See what I'm saying? Hey, you all, I'm still a work in progress, okay? I've been home several years, but I'm still a work in progress. But it just made me think back to this one CO, and it's crazy because as much as everybody literally hated this CO, I can't think of his name. That's crazy. I cannot remember this CO's name, so we're going to call him Officer Dickhead. No pun intended. And pause. Double pause. So we're going to go by Officer Dickhead. And he was one of those officers that just, I guess in a sense, he did his job extraordinary. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to say extraordinarily well, but he just did the most. He really went overboard. He was one of those guys to where when you're on visit with your family, now only the people that have been incarcerated or who have visited someone in prison really are going to be able to feel me and understand where I'm coming from with this. Here you are on visit. You trying to enjoy your family. You may have your mother there. You may have, your kids there, your girls there. Everything's good. The atmosphere is good. Now don't get me wrong, you're still in prison, but the importance of having visits and receiving visits on a regular, it takes your mind away from what you're dealing with any other time. So however long you're out there, 2-3 hours, however long, you're focused on your family. You're not even thinking about prison. They have the vending machine so you can bring quarters and, your family can go up and buy you food and drinks and things of that nature out of the vending machine. So, like I said, Everybody's sitting there just having a good time. He was one of those type guys I never will forget. On visit, my girl was sitting there, and we were talking, just having a regular conversation. He comes over in the middle of our visit, and he's like, excuse me, ma'am. He's one of them super cops. Excuse me, ma'am. I always, had the glasses on like me. I'm going to have to ask you to, zipping your jacket up. Now, her jacket was right here as far as the zipper. So by her zipping it up, it had to be all the way up to her neck. Now, she's a little top heavy, I must admit. I'm locked up. I've been locked up for a couple years or whatever. But at the same time, she wasn't breaking any rules. According to CP 375, the visitation rules say, he knew the rule book, the handbook, the inmate handbook. It's like he knew it by heart. Actually, he used to go home and study the handbook, and he would tell us, so that anytime he hit someone with a write-up, it was a great chance of it sticking, because he knew all the intricacies of the ins and the outs of the handbook. A lot of times you breaking rules in prison according to the handbook, and you don't even know it. So you'll receive a bogus write-up, and you'll be like, what? My hands was in my pocket. When did it say I can't have my hands in my pocket? Or my ID wasn't, so many inches from my, it's just so many rules that they have, and he knew all of them. So he tells her to, that she needs to, zip up her jacket. No problem. She didn't say a word. Now, we talked about it after he left the table. Like, man, this dude. I was like, yeah, man, this dude's a real jerk. She zips her jacket up. Probably about 15, 20 minutes later, he comes back to the table. He's like, ma'am, if I have to ask you one more time, then I'm going to have to terminate your visits. Now, I'm looking at this dude like, come on, bro. Her jacket is all the way. What more can she do? She was like, I'll tell you what. Can I just go to the car and change? Once you leave the premises, you will not be permitted until the next visitation. All that old jail talk. When I say jail talk, meaning, quoting all the rules of the jails. CPC codes and CPP codes. And so, basically the rest of the visit, she had to sit there and just, continuously make sure that her jacket was literally up to here. Because she was blessed, to say the least. That was the type of individual this guy was. Just a real jerk. So after the visit, my job, because everybody's assigned a job in prison, at least in Kentucky. Every prison that I've been at, you have to work. If you don't, they take your privileges away from you, and they'll send you to a certain dorm for the people that don't want to work. And it's like a restricted dorm. Can't have a TV, barely get any rec time. It's just, it's for punishment. So my job, I had a gravy job. For you all that don't know what gravy job means, easy job, relatively easy job. Oftentimes when people watch my channel, they have to refer to the, what do y'all call it? Urban Dictionary, if you will. But I'm getting better. And I try to, explain everything as I go. So my job was, after visitations, we had to break all the tables down. Take the tables down, spray them down, before we took them down, actually. Spray them down, wipe them off, and put the tables and the chairs up. That's it. That's all I had to do. We had to do it before visit. Visit started at 9 a.m., and they go till 3 p.m. So we'd have to be up there, I don't know, maybe about 8:15, 8 o'clock, get everything set up, wipe everything down, vending machines, just spray everything down, make sure that the place is presentable for the visitors, if you will. So after visits, I'm breaking the tables down, doing everything that I'm supposed to do. It's maybe this particular day, it was probably 4 or 5 of us that was doing it because they had visits in the gym that day. Typically, they have visits in the visitation room, but they were doing some work on the visitation room. The inmates were doing it as usual. See, they have the inmates in prison do everything. So where they would have to bring somebody else in and pay, I don't know, thousands and thousands of dollars, they'll just bring the inmates in. They'll call it a special project, give the inmates $2 a day, and they'll do pretty much whatever needs to be done. They have you build a house if that's what if that's what they need. So, the inmates were working on the visitation room, so we have visits in the gym. Well, obviously the gym is much larger space than the visitation room, so it took more people. So it was additional people up there that was breaking the tables down. As we're breaking the tables down, there's another line in which people were waiting to get strip searched that were leaving visitation. You definitely have to get strip searched, fully strip searched when you leave visit. They want to make sure that no one has slipped you any contraband or anything, that you're not supposed to have in the prison. So I'm standing in line, minding my business. You're on cloud nine after your visit. You're so happy that your people came. You got to, see your kids, hug your mama, hug your girl, get your little Philly feel in. You know what I mean? So typically right after visits, man, everything's good. You're full. Pizza and nachos and all type of unhealthy stuff that you probably have no business really, really eating. But, everything's good. Usually the COs, they're cool, because their shift is about to end. They go home, I believe, at 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock. So they're cool. They're happy. They're about to get out of there. But this one officer Dickhead, I go in. Everybody tries to avoid him because there's 2 officers that are stripping people out. Everybody is literally trying to avoid this guy. Lo and behold, guess who ends up stripping me out? I don't even have to tell you. So I go in. He makes you take everything off. See, certain officers are cool. They don't make you take everything off. Some of them will just be like, just sit in here for a couple minutes, make it look good. Or they may say, take your shoes off. They, you lift your feet up. They check the bottom of your shoes. Pull your pants down. All right, pull them back up. You don't even got to, pull your boxes down or nothing like that. Just, take your shirt off. They pat you down, whatever. Cool, go on. Not Officer Dickhead. When you go in with him, he makes you remember. He studied the inmate handbook. He knows it like the back of his hand. When you go in with him, you take everything off, one by one sock at a time. Which obviously, I guess that's the only way to really take your socks off, one sock at a time, unless you're sitting down, but you're standing up. Take your socks off. So now you're standing on this cold, dirty floor with no socks on. Take your pants off. Take your shirt off. If it's cold outside, I remember it was cold outside, so like the visitation is kind of far from the dorm, so you dress, you might wear your thermal or something like that underneath your state shirt, your state uniform, because it's freezing cold outside. Take your jacket off, obviously. Take every layer that you have on off. You set it in a chair. After you do that, raise your arms. He's looking in your armpits. He has a flashlight. Open your mouth. Raise your tongue. Pull your ears back. Run your hands through your hair. All the while, like I mentioned, he has a flashlight. Lift your sack. Turn around. Squat. No. Spread your cheeks. Squat, cough. Cough again, cough 3 times. Spread your cheeks wider. Lift your feet. Turn back around. And you just like, dude, I mean, for real? Are you serious, man? This is what you're thinking in your mind. I used to talk to him. I used to be like, man, this is some bullshit, man. Do you enjoy this part of your job? Like, I literally would say that to him. So after you finish getting humiliated, if you will, now you got to put all this stuff back on. He sits there and watches you get dressed. Everybody else just leaves out the room. He's going to sit there and watch you get dressed. You get your stuff on, you walk out. So as I walk out, I believe we couldn't leave it was something going on to where we couldn't just walk out that day. I'm not sure if the doors were locked, but typically right after you get strip searched, you can walk back to your dorm. This particular day, I believe an officer had asked me to go and grab another table that was in the back. No problem. After all, it was my job. I went and grabbed the table. I was in the back room, literally, to walk into a room, grab a table, and walk back out. What? 5 seconds? 10 seconds at best. I bring the table. I stack it. I proceed to, walk towards the door so that I could get back to my dorm. Officer Dickhead, hold on. Hold on, Kens. Come here. That's how he talk. Come here. So I come back. Yeah, what's up, man? Gotta search you again. Gotta search me for what? You just left the sight of an officer, the view of an officer, so I have to strip search you again. I'm like, Officer Dickhead, can I speak with you briefly? He was like, I'm speaking to you now, inmate. I said, I'd like to speak to you, in private if at all possible. If you didn't know, this was prison. You like a lot of things, but it doesn't go the way that you want them to go. So if you have anything to say to me, you say it right here. I'm like, well, I don't understand why I have to get strip searched again. You just searched me. You just finished searching me. Now you're telling me that I have to go through the motion again of being strip searched, when all I did was go into a room and grab a table that this officer, the other officer, instructed me to do. If I didn't do it, it would be what do they call it? Disobeying a direct order, which is a major write-up. So what am I supposed to do? So I'm talking to him back and forth or whatever. He tells me, so are you refusing to be strip searched? I said, yeah, I said, you already searched me once, so I'm refusing to be humiliated by you once again. I said, once you let this officer search me, if it's, imperative, if you will, that I'm strip searched again. Put your hands behind your back. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. Man, I'm not putting my hands behind my back. Oh, are you refusing to a direct order? Are you disobeying a direct order? I'm not putting my hands behind my back. I didn't do anything. Gets on his radio. That's their weapon. The mace and the radio. The handcuffs. He calls a signal. We got a signal 7 over at visitation. Signal 7. They all come running in, as though something is really, like somebody's, the building's on fire or something like that. About 3 of them come running in. They see me. They're confused. I've been there for a couple years. Everybody knows me. I'm no trouble. Now I'm at a camp right here too. I'm not even in prison at this point. I started in prison, but worked my way to a camp. So for y'all that don't know what a camp is, it's a lower level security prison, to where the likelihood of violence and people getting stabbed and things like that is very, very low, slim to none at this particular place. But I started here and just worked my custody level down. And it was right there in my hometown. So I'm like literally 10 minutes away from probably my mom's house, So they come rushing in and they're confused, like, you calling us about Ken's for? He's no trouble or whatever. So he's talking to the sergeant. He's telling them exactly what's going on. They cuff me, sit me in the back room. He's trying to hit me with inciting a riot. Inciting a riot because I said to him what I said in front of other inmates. So it's a form of inciting a riot. And I was like, no, I did say it. I was like, because he wouldn't allow me to speak with him one-on-one. So I'm explaining to the sergeant or whatever what went down. I'm like, man, he does, he took me through the most, which I understand that's his job to do, to make sure nothing's coming in the facility. I'm kind of playing my part a little bit. Nothing's coming into the facility that's not supposed to be. But if I'm leaving and another officer gives me an order to go and do something and I go do it, why am I subject to another strip search? So, they leave me in there for probably about 15, 20 minutes. Then they come and take the cuffs off of me. Ken's going back to your dorm. I go on back to my dorm. I don't know if a write-up's coming behind it, because a lot of times when a write-up comes, you don't even know. You just laying in your rack one day or just chilling, they call your name, come to security, you have a write-up. So I don't know really what's coming behind it. I know that I'm going up for parole soon. I don't want to go up for parole with a write-up. In Kentucky, you don't see the parole board. They just view your file and your institutional record. And if, they feel like they're going to allow you to go home, they're going to allow you to go home. You don't even get to explain your side of the story unless you have like a very violent or serious charge. Then you get to actually speak for yourself at the parole board. So I'm like, man, but I feel like I had to stand my ground right there. You can't just give in, because some of them COs, like Jay said, some of them COs, man, they really, really get beside themselves. And there's a lot of cool ones too. They're just there to get their money, feed their family, get their paycheck, whatever they're going to do with their money. They're not trying to make your time harder or anything like that. But it's the overzealous jerks, man, that they don't like inmates. Probably don't like people. Definitely don't like themselves. And this guy appeared to be that way. About a week later, I'm walking out of the chow hall. He calls me, Ken's, come here. I'm thinking, what I do now? This guy would literally be in the chow hall, wouldn't allow you, like if you came in and your shirt wasn't all the way tucked in, or you didn't have your ID, or you didn't, he's checking everything. He's messing with everybody that walks in. So I'm like, man, here we go again. He said, you walking out, right? You walking to the dorm. I'm like, yeah. So he starts walking with me. So now here I am walking on the prison yard with a CO walking beside me, talking to me. As I mentioned, it's not that type of party at this prison, but still, nobody liked dude. And, I'm sure people was like, what is he doing now? Most people probably thought that he was walking me to security, because a lot of times they'll walk you to security. They don't always cuff you, depending on what the situation was. So he said, I know you think that I'm a real jerk, and I know that you don't like the way that I do things. He said, but you know why I'm the way that I am? I said, no, I don't. I said, because it's really not called for, to be honest. He said, I care about you guys. He said, it may not seem like it. I care about you guys. I care so much that I act the way that I act here, because I don't want it to be comfortable for you. I want you to hate me and hate this place so much that you'll never come back. I want you to think about me anytime you happen to be out and you're thinking about doing something wrong. You get an inclination, any sort of thought, if you will, of doing something wrong, breaking the law. I want you to think about me, Officer Dickhead. That's why I act the way that I act. You're not supposed to like prison. Prison is not supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be pleasant. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. Why would you want to come to prison and get comfortable? You guys have televisions. You have your own TVs if you're, able to buy them. You got MP3 players, CD players. Go get your hair cut anytime you want to. You got real free weights that you can lift. You got cable. Go to school. Go to the commissary. He was like, I'd cut all of that stuff out if I could and give you all the bare minimum. But of course, I don't run this facility. So I want you to get yourself together. He's like, I wasn't going to write you up. But I had to let you know that there's rules. There's rules, and rules are in place. And even though you had already been strip searched, technically you left the sight of an officer. I was within my reason. I was within my rights, my every right rather, to strip search you. And I just wanted you to know that there are rules, and there's rules in the real world. And you have to follow them. You may not like them, but there are rules that you have to abide by. Otherwise, you're going to continue to come in and out of this place. He said, so that's the reason I am the way that I am. I looked at that guy kind of different after that. Can't necessarily say that I bought it, but in a way, I did. Because see, you have jerks. He was a jerk, but he explained why he acted that way. But you had some real live jerks that was just miserable and feel like they have some power because they have a badge, blue uniform. They know that anything that they say, guess what? Their word is bond. The word is gold. Urban Dictionary, word is bond. That means that whatever they say, the higher ups, the sergeants, lieutenants are going to take their word, and that's who they're going to, that's who they're going to ride with, no matter what you say. Had an Officer Wireman, that was calling inmates the N-word. It was reported. He was reported. Nothing happened. Got his ass whooped. That dude ended up getting like a year or two in the hole. I believe it was a year, and ended up losing, I want to say 2 or 3 years good time, and then another 5 years added on to his sentence. But it never should have been that. It never should have went that far, because it was already, Officer Wireman had already been reported numerous amount of times. Well, file a grievance. That's what they tell you. File a grievance. And a grievance is such a joke in prison. Make sure you spell my name right, because it never goes anywhere. But the trash can. As I mentioned, there was a message today. And ultimately the message is stay out of prison, man. As typically most of my messages pretty much, say the same thing as far as stay out of prison. There's nothing fair about prison. Nothing. See, in prison, they have an approach of two dudes getting a fight, take them both to the hole. Oh, we find a pack of cigarettes, or we find this that you're not supposed to have, lock everybody down. Take everybody's, phone away, or TVs away, or they never really try to get to the root of the problem. That's their ultimate solution. Take from everybody. Nothing fair about prison. Absolutely nothing. They talk to you crazy. They treat you crazy. They do whatever they want to do. They turn the hot water off or the water off whenever they want to. They're not going to shut their commissary down, though, because they want to keep getting that money from you. Take the phones. Take the TV. Just whatever they want to do. It's what they do. Be mindful of that. You may think you have it bad out here sometimes. You ain't seen nothing until you've been in prison. And you're going to really, really see what bad is when they do a lockdown and the whole yard's on lockdown for 2 or 3 weeks. And you just in your cell. I'm talking about when you in prison, where you in the cell, you just in your cell. Not knowing what's going on. Can't get on the phone. Barely can get out and take a shower. Definitely goes down, man. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification, so anytime I bring you this action, this heat, you're amongst the first to receive it. Still a small channel, about 6.5 months in, and we growing every day. You know, just recently hit 2,000 subscribers, so we growing. But I need y'all to hit that post notification, so like I mentioned, anytime I drop a video, you know that I drop. If you don't hit the post notification, how y'all know I drop a video? Real Kens TV, man. Once again, shout out Trap Talk Blue. He's out of Detroit, Michigan. Y'all go check him out, man. He's a real, I love his channel. I listen to it every day. And of course, man, Jay Williams, man. Let's live life, man. Shout out. Till next time.